All right, we should be live. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining me. And I guess surprise, I scheduled the stream, so it's not a total surprise. But I didn't have the stream on my radar until a couple days ago when I was thinking about it. Oh, I have my laptop quiet. I have it muted for once. I almost always forget to unmute it. Perfect. Yeah, so I streamed on Sunday. I'm planning to stream next Sunday, but here we are on Thanksgiving Day, hanging out for a little bit. So I appreciate it if you're here, dropping in the stream to just chill for a little bit. That's awesome. So thanks for swinging through. So let's see. Today's kind of an open stream. I'm happy to talk disc golf and just kind of talk about different things coming up or chat with you guys or talk about Thanksgiving or really just anything. The idea is just to hang out on stream and just be here. I know not everybody has family that they're able to spend Thanksgiving with, or maybe, time with family is kind of a stressful thing. So I figured that if anybody was just chilling by themselves and had some free time, we would just hang out for a little bit. Well, a few little updates for me. I have the Chain Hawk Open coming up. I think it is the 14th annual Chain Hawk Open. So I've played in the Chain Hawk Open a couple of times now. I want to say 3 times. I played disc golf for 4 years, and actually, when I moved to Florida, is really when I started playing disc golf actively. And all I knew about the Chain Hawk Open was that the courses were closed for a weekend, the first year that I was playing disc golf. But the next year, I had heard about this A tier. I was excited to try to play and compete in it, and I was an MA3 player at that point, and I ended up playing really well. I was, I believe, tied for the lead round one and at the end of round two, or maybe I had a lead of 1 stroke. And then round three, I came into the last few holes 2 back from the lead, and I ended up birdieing the last 2 holes to my opponent's par bogey, and I ended up taking the win in MA3 on hole 18. It was something that I will never forget. It was exciting. It was insane. It was a surprise to me, and it was a great moment to celebrate and remember. Then the next year, I jumped right away into MA2 as soon as I had won that Chain Hawk Open. My rating was quick to follow, but it maybe was 2 ratings updates later before I actually crossed 900 rating. But always got to adjust everything a little bit at the last second. But I just jumped fully into MA2, played in MA2 for a while. It actually took me quite some time to get my first MA2 win. I think it was July, and I actually won in like a 7 or 8 hole playoff. And ended up winning my first MA2 tournament. And then, though it took me a long time to win an MA2, I turned around in my next tournament. I played MA1 and I ended up winning an MA1 tournament. So I set my sights on the Chain Hawk Open once more and ended up taking 4th place. Then fast forward to last year, the Chain Hawk Open is just kind of like the big event of the year around the Gainesville area. And I put in a lot of effort. I putted probably 2,000 times to prep for the Chain Hawk Open and ended up taking the win in MA1. So that's a very exciting tournament for me. And this year, playing an MPO. So I'm very, very excited for that. Hey, Candlelight's hopping in here, says, Happy Thanksgiving, was not expecting a surprise stream today. And yes, Doc says that's why it's a surprise, which is true. But thank you for hopping on, Candlelight. Appreciate you swinging through. And Doc, good to see you guys. Yes, it is a bit of a surprise, and I wasn't even on Sunday I wasn't planning the stream. But sometime on Monday, I kind of started thinking about it and what my plans were going to be for Thanksgiving. And I realized that I have the space, I have the capacity. Why not? Why not hop on the stream and hang out with people? Candlelight says, yes, but I've been told to expect the unexpected, and still, yet I failed. That's really good. Yes, you expect the unexpected, but you don't expect the expected but the unexpected wasn't expected. The expected wasn't expected, so you didn't expect that. So that happens sometimes. That's understandable. Nathan's hopping on saying, Happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate you swinging through, Nathan. I hope that you had a great Thanksgiving as well. What have you guys done for Thanksgiving? Have you guys been able to spend time with family? Did you guys go out to eat, make a turkey, and have the whole Thanksgiving meal prepped at home? What have you been up to? I got to have a video call with my family, which was really nice. Got to see my parents, my sister, and my grandpa for a little bit, which is really, really cool. They're all the way up at Michigan, so good 11-hour drive, 11-hour drive for me. And just going up for Thanksgiving didn't seem like good timing or really a wise choice. So I'm really glad that we were able to video chat and hang out for a bit this afternoon. Doc says, saw that Brad needed me, so I tossed down the turkey, yelled at my family, I have to go, and here I am. Now that's dedication. And that's almost mod material, Doc, you might say. But we'll still keep that responsibility off of your back. No, that's really great. That's funny. Icy says hello. Thanks for hopping on and joining us. Candlelight says mind games. Austin says, any chance you ordered the Discraft mystery box with the fused Scorch? I did not. I thought about the gyro box. Actually, what I saw, the brick and mortar gyro boxes were somewhat reasonably priced, and you got like 15 discs. So I did think about the gyro box. I didn't end up buying it. I did not get the Discraft. Are you talking about a new one, or are you talking about the Ledgestone box? Because I did get the Ledgestone box, but that was like 2 months ago. So I assume you're talking about a newer mystery box. Doc says it was at Mom and Dad's and did Thanksgiving chili for lunch. Oh, that's really nice. Did you have like turkey chili, or was it just like don't care about the turkey, just have chili? Did you have turkey involved, or a bird of some kind in your meal? Even an egg would count. Icy says didn't celebrate yet, waiting until 5 to go with my dad. Cool. I hope that's really fun, and good for you guys to be able to spend time together and hang out. Yeah, I definitely know a lot of people kind of do the like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock afternoon, eat a big meal, and then maybe spend time together in the evening, or just have the evening open, and then of course the eat around dinner or supper time or wherever you are in the country in the evening as well, just for the normal time. So I guess time zone, because for me it's actually 5. So I'm guessing that you're somewhere a little bit across the country, but probably just after 4 for you, or maybe just after 3. Doc says, yeah, Brad, at least you have Brent and your brother. Well, I did see Brent yesterday, and we did talk about Thanksgiving. We kind of floated the idea of maybe hanging out, and he invited me to hang out with his family some tomorrow, and I don't know if I'll be doing that or not. Very generous and everything. And my brother ended up having, he and his wife have some close friends that they're spending the day with, so they're hanging out and having a great time, which is a real blessing for them, and I'm happy for them. But I'm just chilling by myself, got some time with family. I have enchiladas for later, so I'm pretty much set. Austin says, just getting back into disc golf after about 8 years away from it. Wow. It's kind of fun and interesting because for me, 5 years ago, I didn't care about disc golf at all. But that wasn't because, I had played and stopped playing. I had never really played disc golf. I did one round of disc golf and I hated it. So I'd never really been a disc golfer. So it's interesting. I've played for just 4 years, and you're 8 years off, but you used to play. That's just kind of fun to see some people who have played for a long time, used to play and are playing again, or haven't played in a while, and who is just a new disc golfer and new to the sport. Yeah, that's a long way. Doc says, whatnot was an optic ice splash, a landmine, a depth. Okay, this is Doc's whatnot order, and he forgot everything that he ordered because Doc has a problem with whatnot and he orders too much. So he kind of forgot what he had gotten, so now he's updating me. So he says, optic ice splash, a landmine, a depth charge, shadow play, and a myth. I have heard of Two. Okay, I've heard of the depth charge technically. I think depth charge and landmine are both Doomsday, if I'm correct about that. The Opto Ice Splash. I thought the Splash was a plastic type, not a disc. Is a Splash a disc? I didn't know that either. I don't know what a Shadow Play is, and I don't know about the Myth disc. That's very interesting. Doc says, "Oh no, Mom and Dad, supper regular Thanksgiving. Sorry, Chili was alone for lunch." God, I'm on the same page with you. So you have upcoming Thanksgiving dinner and just had chili for lunch. That makes sense. Oh, super early Thanksgiving. Okay. Well, I'm wrong again for the second time. So you're done already eating. Got it. Pressure says new subscriber. Hey, thanks for that. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. Hope that you've had a wonderful Thanksgiving so far, and maybe you've spent some good time with family or friends, or just a relaxing day to remember what we have to be grateful for. I know I have a lot to be grateful for, a lot of things that I'm giving thanks about, a lot of blessings in my life, including all of you guys, and I appreciate you being here, hanging out with me. Austin says it is the Discraft Black Friday box. Okay. Fuse Scorch and 8 mystery discs. 1 in 5 orders get a surprise like Zuka cart, grip bag, gift card, etc. So it is kind of the theme that they have of that prize with some grand prizes. Brent and I opened up a box 8 months ago, 6 months ago, and he won a bag, and it's a pretty nice bag. And then we both got a box a couple months back, the Ledgestone. Nothing. I mean, we got a couple extra discs, so it wasn't nothing, but you never know what you're gonna get. And I got some good discs in the box, so that was really nice. I see in El Paso. Okay, so Texas. So is that 2 or 3 hours? Is it just after 3 or just after 4 for you? So is the fused scorch, is that the is that this style of scorch where you have the flames in the rim, or is it a totally new disc? Because this is from a couple months back. This is from the summer. Is this the fused scorch, or is it a totally like new release? I know sometimes they have discs that have been limited releases, and then they have it more, widely opened up. Sometimes it's totally new. Curious about that. Doc says, eat cheese? What? Okay, I don't know. Hasbian says, is that a plate? These are disc golf discs. So I got one here. So you can eat off of them if you're desperate. But really, these are disc golf discs used for the sport of disc golf. Different than a frisbee, which is really made to be thrown and caught. But disc golf discs are not made to be caught. They can really hurt, even break your fingers if you try to catch them. And they can go hundreds of feet. People on the Disc Golf Pro Tour can throw 700-800 feet with one of these discs, which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, so these are used for the sport of disc golf. You're trying to get it in the basket in as few throws as possible. So we have drivers for distance, putters for getting it into the cage, a little more blunted and rounded, and this is kind of meant to catch the chains better and land in the basket, as opposed to the driver, which kind of punches through the chains. And then, this is an example of a mid-range, kind of in between a driver and a putter. You can see it's a little more angular, but more blunted than the driver at the same time. All of these fly a little bit differently. Austin says, played for about 5 years when I was in high school here in Michigan. Stopped for 8 years. Then my older brother got me back into it. Not the same timeline, but a similar story for me. My older brother tried to get me interested in disc golf. Tried it once and hated it. And then years later, he taught me how to grip and throw a disc well. And once I figured that out, I was like, oh, I love this. Disc golf is fantastic. And it's been, I didn't, I had a few months where I didn't play, and I moved to Florida. And as soon as I got to Florida, I was like, okay, I'm going to find a disc golf course. I'm going to take these discs out. I'm going to have a good time. And I absolutely, totally fell in love. Yeah, that's funny. So where in Michigan were you? I grew up in Michigan. I grew up in Jackson. I went to Jackson Christian, little high school in Jackson, Michigan. and went to Cornerstone University in Grand Rapids for college. So kind of Jackson to Grand Rapids to Grand Haven for a couple of years. So kind of the middle of the lower peninsula over to the coast toward Lake Michigan. Doc says Austin, they look cool, but probably not for noodle arms. Splash, I think it's because it looks like a paint splash. It's on Discord. So you talk about the pattern, like this Opto, because this is the Opto Ice Splash River. But are you talking about an Opto Ice Splash disc? The Opto Ice Splash. Well, then you said a landmine. So I'm yeah, I don't know what your splash disc was. Doc says, I think the cat is mad. She's attacking me. I didn't take her to mom and dad's. I did take the dog. Ooh, you can't show favoritism like that. Can't do that, Doc. And it's that fused Scorch just with their graffiti Discraft bar stamp. Okay. That sounds pretty cool though. That's awesome. The the 10K misprint, the 10PK misprint, $55. Oh, it's a diamond. Got it. The Opto Ice Splash Diamond. Well, that's fun. I bet it's a more stable diamond than compared to traditional diamonds, which are great discs, but sometimes could be a little too flippy. I wonder if the Splash Diamond, the Opto Ice Splash, actually holds a little more and doesn't turn all the way over quite as fast. And Jack says, Happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate you stopping by, swinging through the chat. And happy Thanksgiving to you as well. I hope you were able to, or have been able to, enjoy your day so far. We'll enjoy the rest of your day, whether it be with family or friends or not. I hope it was a day of rest and peace and gratitude. Austin says, Doc, I was stuck between the ESP and Z misprint packs for 55 apiece, or the 120 for the one I ordered, and 30 minutes east of Grand Rapids in Belding, just north of Ionia. Okay, cool. So yeah, east of Grand Rapids. So I drove past Belding, not like through it or anything, but on I'm gonna forget the highways. 196. Over and over again between Jackson and Cornerstone. I'd go up to Lansing and then just back and forth, back and forth. So yeah, I've definitely been near. I'm trying to remember if I've been in Belding for anything, but I know that I've been just around that area and past it a lot because I lived at college, but I was just commuting home for a lot of breaks and stuff like that for 4 years. So I definitely have been right past you, definitely a few times. Doc says, didn't say diamond, sorry, no problem. Just got confused. Have you tried the heavyweight diamond? They produce a line in 170-ish weight. I have not tried the heavyweight diamonds, but it seems to accomplish kind of that same purpose where the diamond is such a great disc for so many players, but when you amp up in power, it stops being quite as relevant. So to kind of get that heavier weight and maybe a domier or a different plastic to the diamond might turn out to be a real powerhouse for someone who can actually throw really far. But the diamond is fantastic in general. Mine just turned into a roller quickly, and it was still useful, but I really either had to hyzer it a lot or just expect it to roll. I think I gave that away. Kevin says, Happy Thanksgiving, Brad. You the man. Thanks, Kevin. You the man. Hope that you've had a great time with your family and that you've had a wonderful celebration of Thanksgiving today. Mr. Man says hello. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate you swinging back in the chat. Hope that you've had a great day as well. Jack says, went to mass, then disc golfing before family time. I saw at least 3 Facebook posts this morning where people said, had a great round of disc golf, Thanksgiving disc golf round in before, time to eat turkey and then take a nap, something like that. So I know it is pretty popular for people to go get a round in real quick, either early this morning or sometime in the afternoon before the whole dinner, Thanksgiving dinner with family. So that's really awesome. How'd your round go? Did you have a fantastic Thanksgiving round? Disc golfing in the snow. Okay, so you're north. I know it was pretty snowy in Michigan. What state is that in? Austin says, on I-96, we have Smash Park right around the corner from my house. Nice. That's awesome. I'm trying to think. I wasn't a big disc golfer when I was in Michigan. I played several Grand Rapids courses and everything around Jackson. And then I just played in Helbian, uh, Victory Park, which is pretty good. But anyway, so how far are you then from like Renegades Trail, the Birchfield Park in Hastings? I think that's the other side of Lansing. So you're probably 30 to 45 minutes away from that in Belding, I would guess. Maybe more like 30 minutes. But what is that? The number two course in Michigan, the Renegades Trail, and then the Rivers Bend, Rivers Edge, also on the same property. They're pretty good courses, like very very solid. Actually, I like. I see why. Now I forgot the name of it. I just said it out loud. Renegades Trail is number two in Michigan because it's kind of toward pro level. Like you have the long layout, you have the wide open bombs. But I kind of liked Rivers Edge or Bend, whichever one, the river one, because it had more of a Charlotte style disc golf, more trees, more lines that you have to hit. You have to stay in the fairway more than just staying in bounds. Kind of more along my inclination for how I like to play the sport. Uh, Blaz, I'll call you Blaze maybe. It says, "What's behind you, frisbee? Say my name." I don't know. I can't pronounce your name. So disc golf discs. I do have a frisbee here, which obviously, as you know, frisbees are made to catch, but disc golf discs are not made to be caught. These are made to throw far, and they are definitely not a good design for grabbing. You can break your fingers if somebody who's talented is throwing this at you. But disc golf discs used to play the sport of disc golf, where you want to get into the basket in as few shots as possible. We have drivers, mid ranges, and putters. They all fly a little bit differently, some of them a lot differently, to be used to kind of accomplish your purpose of hitting your line. I'm just going to assume that that's where it was, but I'm pretty sure that's the wrong spot. Oh well. Wait, did I get it from here? Pretty sure I didn't get it from there, but that's fine. Njack says, drops $5. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Fellow Michigan native to another. Really, really appreciate it. That's cool. Thanks. And happy Thanksgiving. What a legend. Austin says, I'm about 45 minutes from Hastings. Okay. That's what I was thinking. Somewhere between that 30 to 45. Cool, cool. And Jack says it was okay. Plus three over, had a battle wind on a few shots. Live in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. I was just in Wisconsin. I had a conference for my parents' ministry there. We were by Green Lake. I don't know if that's a big lake or a small, tiny little thing. Um, it's hard coming from Michigan, where it's like you have Lake Michigan, like it's just a massive reference point. So I don't know even where Green Lake is. I think it's near Madison somewhere, but I was just in Wisconsin for a few days last month. But I imagine it's pretty chilly up there right now and windy. I believe windy for sure. Doc says, "Oh, anyone upset about the Frolf? Don't watch St. Denis Medical's last episode." Yeah, that's probably solid advice. I actually watched episode one of St. Denis, and I was like, could be great, but I didn't really get into it. Nothing against the show, just didn't watch it. But that's funny that they have a Frolf reference or whatever. The Office has a Frolf reference. Andy is trying to woo Pam in one of the earlier seasons, and he talks about Frolf because he's listing all the things that Pam actually hates. Jim set him up, and so of course Frolf is one of the things that Pam in The Office hates. So that is another little classic Frolf reference, maybe offensive. Numbers, the show Numbers, has an episode where a couple of guys start the episode playing disc golf, but it's so like anyone who's played disc golf is like, this is nonsense. This is so stupid because they're like standing on the tee and they like barely throw a disc, and then it cuts to the basket, which is like 200 feet away, and it like misses, and then the next guy like barely throws it and it cuts to the basket and it goes in. Like it's a, and he's just like, yes. Like he made a 20-footer, it's like, first of all, he put no effort into that throw and he aced from, 200 feet. And second, he aced and he had no reaction. Like it was just this bizarre little thing. It's funny that they threw disc golf into it, but they had no context for how it actually looks to be played and what, just an ace would be. They have no significance to it. Doc says Brad and his brother's distance in the wind video was good. Watch it to see Brad lose to his brother. Spoilers, yeah, it's just a short. It's not a full video or anything, but it was like 2 minutes and 51 seconds or something like that. And I think the YouTube short limit is 3 minutes. So I very much pushed the limit of YouTube shorts to make that. And I think I cut, I don't know, 7 or 8, jokes or explanatory comments that were kind of scattered throughout the video because I just couldn't fit it all in. But it was fun. Candlelight says lost in points, but won in spirit. I did lose. I have to admit it. I didn't throw the right disc for driver, and I threw my putter poorly for the distance competition. So it was a little bit disappointing. But also, my brother threw some great shots, so I can't, be a sore loser about somebody who did great. Like, it's not like I lost to somebody who stinks. So, like, fair enough, I lost. Austin says the only course I played in Grand Rapids was Old Farm Park. I haven't heard of Old Farm Park. The thing about GR is there are so many courses just scattered. It's such a broad area. And then the closer you get to the coast, it seems like there's just every half mile there's a church with a 9-hole or an 18-hole course on their property. Like the amount of just like disc golf courses in the backyard of a church is kind of insane in that area. I played the Earl Brewer and one other, now that I can't remember it. Earl W. Brewer. Yeah, I think they played one round of Am Worlds there a year ago, which I was not able to compete in. Unfortunately, even though my family's in Michigan, I wasn't able to make that happen. And Jack says, can't wait to disc in North Carolina next week. Where in North Carolina? Are you coming to Charlotte? It's really bad timing. Oh, right. You're going to Wilmington. Sorry, you've already told me. Brain is just catching slowly. Yes, you told me you're going to be in Wilmington. I'm 100% caught up now. Yep. Yeah, weather's great. I mean, I'm inclined to agree with Doc. Weather has been great. Do you think TV people think froth is like the cool word for disc golf? That's a good question. I imagine that they do because in the 70s it probably was thought of that way. Like, oh, it's froth. We're frothing. It's like, yeah, hip slang for it. And of course now it's cringy. But yeah, I imagine that they do kind of have that outsider's perspective of, oh, this is the cool name for it. Or they know it's dumb and they use it to be dismissive of disc golf. Maybe that's what's going on. Hard to say. Like b-ball? Is that true of b-ball? Doc says, not sure about the courses there, but hope you have a great time. Still blaming those poor discs. No, are you talking about my distance competition? No, I threw poorly. What are you talking about? Doc says, send them to your uncle. Doc, I'll love them. You have too many discs already. You don't need more. You need to donate discs. TFM says, do you like numbers? Are you talking about the show numbers? Or are you talking about numbers in general? My brother, if it's the show, I enjoyed numbers. I liked a lot of it, but I think they were really stretching occasionally on their like situations that they set up, and occasionally they were really obvious and they had to make this mathematical argument for something, and it's like anybody who thinks about it for 5 seconds would know, like, yeah, that's true. And they had to like, this guy has to like make his case for it. It's like a rational person would agree with you immediately. No, I think it's a good show. I think it has a good blend of humor and drama, and it's of course like a crime solving show. Those are always great. So I do think the numbers is a fantastic show. Candlelight says yes, my favorite is 9. Doc says I watched a bit of numbers, was very interesting. Tucker says bet you throw like a girl. I would love to throw like Kristen Latt. I mean, she's 1,000 rated, breaking records, taking a break from disc golf indefinitely now. But multiple, like, did she win worlds 2, 3 times? Just absolutely stomping on everybody at worlds. I wouldn't hate throwing like Evelina. She bombs. She stinks at putting, but Evelina Salonen is a fantastic thrower. And of course, if I were to have the personality similar to any of the FPO disc golfers, I would choose Owen Scoggins. I think that she has simply the best disposition. She's so funny. She just says the most chaotic things, and her bravado is really just humorous, and she's such a good attitude about everything. So thank you. Yes. TFM sends 100 joules. Oh, thank you. Or sends 100 for 2 joules. Sorry, I'm miscounting. And oh my gosh, just doing it over and over again. Uh, Combined 200. I can barely keep up. All right, 7 times. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. That's really cool of you. Hey, Sarah Cowherd's stopping in saying hi. Appreciate it. And hope that you're having a great Thanksgiving with your family. Uh, this is actually a great joke. Candlelight says, why did 7 eat 9? You need to eat 3 squared meals a day. Hmm. Great math joke. Much better than why 6 was afraid of 7. And Jack says, speaking of donating discs, I always have an extra disc, so every time I see a kid at the park, give them a disc. That's really cool. I've given away a couple of keystones like that, kind of just floppier discs, where I'm like, if this kid grabs it and just chucks it at somebody, it's less likely to hurt. Like the Zero Soft or whatever plastic it was. But yeah, that's a really cool way to do it. Doc, what were you doing? You were dropping, was it leopards, or what were you leaving at baskets? You were saying you're dropping discs at. Tucker says she would. I wouldn't place at men's. I don't know what you're saying. You wouldn't place on the MPO tour. I'm sure you probably wouldn't, unless you're in the top 50 in the world. Like I definitely wouldn't. If you're saying she wouldn't, yeah, there's a reason why there's MPO and FPO as separate divisions. Duh. I don't understand what's going on. Are we just saying normal, like obvious things for fun? That's fine if you want to. Uh, was up says, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for hopping on and joining. Hope that you had a great Thanksgiving or are having a great Thanksgiving yourself. Did you get any celebration in with family? Have some good food? Thanksgiving meal coming up later. Sarah says, just got back from Kilbourne. I was at Kilbourne yesterday. I played 2 rounds. Quick round with Brent in the morning. And Doc, I know this will crush your soul, but I beat Brent on the last hole. I almost aced it. He missed his putt, and I made my putt for the birdie to win by 1. I know. You're very, very sad right now. I hope you'll stay on the stream and hang out for a little while longer and just kind of use whatever tissues you need to cry through this. It's gonna. Then I played a doubles round. I won't spoil it. We did a lefties versus righties. My brother being left-hand backhand disc golf, left-handed, and I on opposing doubles teams with my friends Kyle and Kevin, lefty and righty, and we had a very, very fun doubles match where we played Kilbourne longs. We played the longs on every tee except 16. 17. We didn't play longs on 17. Or yeah. But other than that, we played all like the full I think this is Skillborn layout. It's a tough layout. Good choice for doubles though. Anthony says, "Hey dude, hope you're having a good time. You look like you I don't even know what that is. But hopefully you have been enjoying your Thanksgiving yourself. I've had a great day today. What is TDA? Am I stupid for even saying it out loud? I'm so lost. Doc says, I did leopard threes. What a legend. Leaving those for new disc golfers to pick up. Hey, 21 Sabian says, Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Cool to run into you yesterday at the course. It's really awesome to catch you for a few minutes. And shout out to a legendary forehander. Hope you find your hex. That's a bummer. And Jack says, Hope all has a great weekend. Time for dinner with the family. Thanks for hopping on. Really appreciate you swinging by and hope that the rest of your evening is fantastic. Enjoy the family time. Make it a priority and have a grateful evening. 21 Sabian says those leaves were so mean yesterday at Killy. They were ridiculous. They were just silly. I left the disc because I putted past the basket and it was doubles. I was filming, grabbing my stuff, and we just kind of went to the next hole. But it was half buried under the leaves. So if I had just seen it, I probably would have grabbed it, but I just slipped my mind. Went back and found it later, thanks to a couple guys who grabbed it for me. Then a friend lost a disc, we couldn't find it. Another buddy lost a disc that we did find, and then Kyle throws a disc to test it and loses it. As we're like looking for a lost disc, he goes off to the tee, throws a disc, and loses it. And I had just given it to him too. It was his disc, so his loss. But the leaves were pretty evil, pretty horrible. Vile says, love your plate collection. Thank you. These are disc golf discs, not plates. I never know if someone's being serious or not. But as opposed to a frisbee, an ultimate frisbee disc, a disc golf disc is completely different shaped and meant to go far and fast and used in the sport of disc golf for distance. Doc says, sorry, Brad. What were you saying? I was AFK. Might give out some Leviathans next time. It's a great mid. Oh, yeah, we were just talking about donating discs. Sarah said, do you get a haircut? It's looking good. Yes. Shorter than I like it, but of course, when you get your haircut, well, maybe not of course. When I get my haircut, I hate it. The day of, the next day, it's terrible. It's so short. It's awful, and I hate it. It'll grow. It'll be better. I definitely like it in between. It was way too long on stream on Sunday. It's too short for me today, but in a week, I think I'm going to really start liking it. But I'm just a little picky about my hair. I like it a little bit longer. But thank you. I really appreciate it. I do think it was a necessary haircut. I think it's better than where it was a week ago. It was just too long. Gio says, what a wonderful lasagna. Lasagna sounds really good. Doc says, ever get that one you threw in the water in the short? No. So if you watch this one, I threw a white keystone into the water. Kevin was filming. He was trying to film me throwing a good shot, and I threw it in the water. So it went over that little wooden wall. So that wooden wall is about at 4 feet of depth. And short of that wall, it kind of catches your disc, and you can probably just wade in and get it back or use a stick. But beyond that wall is dropping off immediately to like 6 feet. So maybe like 3 feet off that wall, you can stand in the water and still have your head partway above water. But it's so sloped that discs that land on the other side of the wall just slide deeper into the water almost every time. So it was a chilly day. I wasn't having it. I didn't go after that. I had a replacement keystone in my stack of discs just ready. So I've already replaced it, and I don't even think I put my name on it because it's just a putter. You know, I do throw it, so I probably should put my name on it, but lost it. 21 Sabian says, nearly lost my favorite fairway driver twice at Eager Beaver today. The leaves are super thick. They're to right now. Yeah, I bet. That stinks, yeah, because when you're throwing, because Eager is not a long course, so you're throwing, and it just vanishes, and you're like, it should be right here. how can I not find it? Like at least yesterday we lost a turn that was thrown at full power and it went like around a tree off the fairway. And we tried to watch the flight, but it was just behind stuff. It just kind of vanished. It's so hard to pinpoint that. But when you're throwing something, 250 or whatever you're doing, I mean, I guess there's the 390-foot hole, but otherwise, you see the disc and you're like, it's right there. Where did it go? How did it vanish in this like 12 by 18-foot section? Like, where did that stinking disc go? It's really frustrating sometimes when you're just searching for it. I left my water over there. Doc says, worse is when you search, then almost give up and it was like a foot from the fairway. I have a great little story. I was playing Nevin a couple weeks ago when the match play championship was happening at Hornets. Hole 2, Buddy threw a disc, orange, and it just vanished. And we rolled up, put our bags down and everything, looking for probably 8-9 minutes. And then Christian Sturt, Queen City Disc Golf, comes up and plays through us. He's bringing his dog. Dog comes over. I'm petting the dog. I'm like, hey, can you find this disc for us? I'm literally like asking this dog to like hunt a disc down. And the dog just kind of looks at me and then just walks away. And I look down and the dog was standing on the disc and it had uncovered it. It literally, while I was petting this dog, it uncovered the leaves, it uncovered the disc by knocking the leaves off the top of it. And I was like, I found the disc. Well, the dog found the disc. I credit where it's due. Queen City Discs, Christian Sturt's dog found that lost disc. But it was right next to where I put my bag down. Doc says, Dragons float, by the way, also would not go close to the basket. Sarah says, don't worry, man, you look good. Thank you very much. Definitely an improvement. Sarah says, are you standing or sitting? I am sitting in my chair right here. And actually, I'm going to stand and get my water right now. So this is convenient timing. I'll be right back. Ugh. This is kind of... Oh, I didn't realize my... Wrong way. I need to go this way. That's better. So my water bottle is not naturally two-toned. This is all of the paint rubbing off because the Zuka cart just bounces around and scratches all of the paint off your disc. So I bet you not too bad right now because I keep washing it. But you might even be able to see a little bit of blue on my finger because it's just scraping the paint right off the disc or off the water bottle. Sorry, I'm so used to saying disc. But yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. I'm waiting for the day when it's just shiny silver just all the way down and there's blue on top. Then I have to worry about like picking it up and getting blue paint on my hands. Doc says, Brad, are you still looking for Doomsday discs? Whatnot discount discs and auction have a lot on it. Not in particular. I think it would be fun to do videos on some of them, but I'll be honest, I'm behind on the videos I have planned. Like I still have the shoe video. I filmed the bag swap with Blaze. I have this lefty v righty. I have a practice round that I'm trying to drop. And I had hoped to get the Project Grip, Grace, and Brave videos. But now like they've been out for so long, I don't even know if I should review them anymore. And I lost my Project Grip Brave. Although that does remind me, great timing. I have a Project Grip Brave that just arrived. Shout out to my buddy Kyle for hooking me up. I paid him, so he didn't just give it to me, but I'm grateful for it. Doc says, the Zuka card that you still haven't shown on stream. I took a picture of it, and no, I'm not bringing my cart all the way up 2 stories up here so that I can show it on screen in this corner of my room. No, I'm not going to do that. I posted pictures of it and said thank you to everybody who gave to it. I'm very grateful for it. I'm very happy with the cart. The downside of the cart is that the water bottle holders are loose and scrape the paint off of your water bottles. Okay. Sarah says, do you have a Mamba? Because the Mamba is my favorite driver. Yes. Mamba was one of my first drivers that I was consistently throwing. I have a G-Star Mamba too. And I loved it. It was in the bag for a long time. The Sidewinder. Ugh. So I've got now, this was my original driver. My brother gave this to me years and years, like 11 years ago. About 11 years ago, my brother gave this to me when I went to college. I played one round of disc golf and hated it. Didn't play for another 7 years or whatever it was. But then I started playing. I started loving it. He gave me this Mamba as well as like 20 other discs. And I found that they were quickly going the furthest for me. The Mamba is like glidey and super flippy with no fades. Just a fantastic disc for distance. If you're able to throw a good shot but not incredibly far, the Mamba can really unlock that extra distance for you. And Sidewinder is just great. Then the Mamba, eventually I realized it was just a roller disc. And it wasn't even necessarily a bad roller disc, but I wasn't good at rollers in general. And eventually it slowly found its way out of my bag. I had other flippy discs that I could control better, like this purple Enigma here that I found at Toboggan. The dude was in Texas, and he said I could keep it. That was really nice. I called the number of the guy because I thought he was in the tournament. I thought he was at U.S. Amateurs, so I called him, and I was like, "Hey, I found your disc. Are you here?" It's like, "Well, no, I'm in Texas." So got to keep that. But yeah, Mamba's a fantastic disc. Halo Mamba's a good balance where it's still flippy but not insanely flippy like the G-Star is. And it can last a lot longer and kind of be more of a long time. What am I trying to say? It grows up with you. You throw further and further, and it can actually handle it better. Okay. Sarah says, cool. My dad has the same Mamba, but it's green, the Mamba was, and still is the disc that I learned on. Oh, you meant blue. Yeah, because mine's green. Although I was like, I'm pretty sure mine was green. Yeah. He's got a blue Mamba. Yeah. It's a good starter disc. I wouldn't always recommend an 11 speed for newer players, but if you're throwing drivers, a Mamba is pretty much the way to go as far as like flippiness. The Diamond can be in that category, maybe like a lightweight Leopard or something like that. 21 Sabian says, Mamas are so good. I've got a super old one that bombs. Heck yeah. They go far, man. They go far. That G-Star one doesn't go far for me anymore because it just reaches the ground too quickly, but they're really, really good discs. I'm sure at some point I should give that to somebody who would actually really benefit from it. Maybe a real old guy who can't throw that far and likes clear discs and has like themed bags and loves Innova Dragons. Maybe the Mamba would be a good gift for him. Doc says, Brad, go check out the depth charge from Doomsday. It might be a fun disc to do a video. Maybe let Brent and brother try it with no warning. And Doc says, just so Brad isn't lying, anyone having soup tomorrow? What do you mean lying? Oh, we're talking about because I put soup in my title for the video. Thank you, Doc, for having our bases covered for liabilities purposes. All right. Depth charge. I'll look up the depth charge. And I'm guessing it's either super, super overstable or super, super flippy. Oh, it's like the landmine. 2201 with a narrow rim? Oh, I see. So it's supposed to just supposed to go straight and drop. Okay. So it's kind of like a differently shaped Berg style, roughly speaking, not identical or anything. Jocelyn says, can play piano you? I cannot play piano. I can play guitar a little bit, not incredibly well, but I learned a bunch of chords and taught myself a bunch of like worship songs. Hey, Mr. Man with the 2 pounds. Thanks. Really appreciate it. Dropping it for us. What a legend. And at Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving too. Very, very grateful for it. Doc says the plastic is the special feature. Like the plastic is weird. Is it wonky? Oh, it's very flexible and durable. Interesting. Sarah says, do you have a leopard? Yes, I have a leopard. I have several, I think. Now I'm thinking. I think I gave away one of my leopard threes. One of my friends just lost a leopard of mine last month. Where is it? Yeah, I don't think I have a leopard anymore. I don't think I have a leopard anymore, unfortunately. Now I'm trying to really think through it. I might have one in my in the trunk of my car. Um, that's possible. I have a stack of discs in the trunk because it's not too cold yet. I don't have to bring them inside. Yeah, I have a leopard somewhere, either in my possession or in somebody's bag who wanted to borrow it. Leopard was one of my good discs early on. I had a Champion Leopard 3, and it was great, but it was partly see-through and it was brown. So that was hard to keep track of. That kind of vanished on me a lot. But good disc, very good disc. Leopard is good. Leopard 3 is good. Brent bags a bunch of Leopard 3s, maybe 2 or 3 of them, and he highs or flips them really nicely. Like they're great discs for him. Jocelyn says, happy, what is that, a Christmas tree? I mean, Merry Christmas early to you as well, but happy Thanksgiving since it's today, stuff like that. Mr. Man says, not much but his honest work. Happy Thanksgiving, bro. I mean, anything is something, so I really appreciate it. Truly. Everything that you guys give me, from views to donations to encouraging comments, I love it all. I appreciate it all. And it just helps remind me of the great disc golf community and general community that we have. You don't have to love disc golf to be a part of this. We can all just hang out together and share our common humanity together and appreciate each other. Jocelyn says, can you Jocelyn me in what, those coins or those pennies? I'm lost. Doc says, depth charge plastic. Collapse plastic is engineered to collapse on landing, delivering optimal control and precision. Mr. Man says, do you know the exact number of discs you own? I do not. I had a video where I talked about all the discs in my collection. Time, I believe it was 255 discs. Is that right, Doc? I don't recall. It's my video. I think it was 255 because I think I'd estimated I had 300. I would say now I've probably crossed 300, maybe 315, something like that. Because I've definitely added. I came back from U.S. Amateurs with Players Pack discs and Worlds with a bunch of discs, and I bought Zone SS's. I bought the Discraft pack. I got a couple of discs in like merchandise credit, stuff like that. And then I got all the Project Grip stuff. So I'm sure that I've pushed over 300 at this point, but I'm really trying not to just collect discs. I like having them on the shelf, but I really don't want to have so many that I have just stacks and stacks off camera. I have storage space right next to me, so I could put a bunch here if I wanted to, but I don't want to like fill this up, and just have extra discs. I really want to stay a little more limited. So if I'm really getting too many discs, I want to kind of give them away or even try to sell them, although I don't tend to try to sell discs too much. Doc says, you kids should have seen Hannah Macbeth in the woods with a leopard 3. She was sick. Yeah, I wish, well, I don't want to say it like that. It'd be cool if she was still able to compete how she was, but she's a mom, and that takes precedence. It's more important. And I'm happy for their family. And of course, Paul's doing great. So they're not lacking for anything. I don't think that Hannah wishes she was playing disc golf and instead of the life that she has. But yeah, I'm sure that she was really talented with the leopard 3 in the woods. Sarah says, just so you know, Down for Disc Golf is the best place to buy disc golf discs. They also have a net inside you can throw into it, and it tracks all of your throwing stats. Okay, so they have a tech disc at Down for Disc Golf. That's really cool. I have thrown a few tech discs here and there. They're great. They're helpful for kind of analyzing your form and what you might be doing and how you can improve it and tracking your change over time. So yeah, very cool. Down for Discs seems like a great place. I tend to get either merchandise credit or it's a new disc, so I try to get it like ahead of time if I can, so I can do a disc review in a reasonable time. LG Animation says pick a number 1 to 10. Did you know that almost everyone picks 7? 5, you might think that people would pick 5 because it's halfway between 1 and 10, but almost everybody picks 7 because they naturally bounce away from what they feel like, the middle is, the most common is. And for some reason, most people tend to go up and they kind of bounce up to 7. So actually, it's a common mentalist trick to try to kind of have somebody pick a number and they have already like written down 7 somewhere because most people pick 7. Doc picked 7. Look at that. There you go. So I picked 3. 3 is my choice. Doc says, Brad, it's a weird plastic, like rubber but plastic. Something like that. Very interesting. Brandon says, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Hope you all had a good day. I'm having a great day. Appreciate you guys hanging out on stream and being with me. And I hope that in return, you've had a great day and that all of you have had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Doc says, something like that equals about 300 discs. Mr. Man says, I know nothing about disc golf, just like the chat and the way you interact with the chat. Also, I remember having a go at Doc the last time I was here. It was great banter. And Doc says, it was? Sweet. What did we banter about? Sounds like Doc. Yeah, I mean, the community is the point. It's something to have disc golf to kind of center around is a helpful magnet to pull people in and give us something to talk about. But ultimately, it's more that we, are people that enjoy relationships and chatting, and it doesn't have to be like lifelong friendships or anything, but the social element of having a community of people who may or may not have disc golf in common, but have some things in common. So, of course, it's easier to kind of build around something than to just generally show up and be like, hey, people, we're all in this together. But yeah, you don't have to be interested at all in disc golf, know anything, or care about it to be able to just hang out and participate and have a good time. And I appreciate you swinging back through and joining the chat. It adds beneficial element to the chat, and of course you donated, so you're my new favorite. Both donations are my new favorite today, and Jack's as well. Doc says you should try disc golf. Oh, he's talking to Mr. Man. You should try disc golf. Grab a 3-pack if no local shop. Get out and play. Innova is probably the best for ease of finding one. I would say that the Innova is good for an easy one. If you actually want a quality starter pack, I like the Streamline or the MVP Lab Second. No, wrong one. The MVP R2 beginners pack actually have some sweet discs and it's a good price too. And people like the R2 plastic. Mr. Man says I've seen them in halftime shows where a dog runs after one. Looks like fun. Baller Bro says, how far do you throw? My distance record at the moment on flat ground is 440 feet with a wild honey. and it was ironically the first time that I threw it, and I haven't repeated that distance yet. I don't know why. I happened to just absolutely rip it the first time I threw it. But I've thrown over 400 with it, several times. It's a very useful disc. I tend to throw more like 390 when I'm throwing a distance shot. I don't have max power. I'm not Pro Tour power. I don't have that 450 on one angle. But played for 4 years, have some distance. I would say, though, the strength of my game is definitely consistency in putting, hitting my gaps, hitting my lines, making good decisions that don't have as bad of consequences if something goes wrong, and keeping a level head so that I can play through the rest of the round even when things go wrong. I would say that tends to be more along my strengths rather than power. Power is not my, strength literally isn't my strength. Doc says, anyone got good Black Friday finds? I haven't found. Oh, I did. Not disc golf, but I have played Control, which is a Remedy game. At the end of Control, you find, this is not a spoiler, this is like a tertiary thing. You find that it's tied to the universe of Alan Wake, which came out years ago. Alan Wake 2 dropped, apparently quite good, and that was on sale for Black Friday. So I grabbed that deluxe edition for $20. Very happy about that because it's still fairly new, and it's, it could have been a full priced game. So I'm pretty thrilled to give that a shot. Doc says about 30 feet shorter than his brother, at least in that video, not all the time. 21 Sabian says the R2 plastic is so good. I hate that it's black. That is, the worst part is that it's a super dark plastic. It's easy to lose, and that is a bummer. I do like the ones that have a little bit of glow. You start getting the glow particles throughout them and then glow faintly. That's pretty cool. Baller says Founder is a good beginner disc. Yeah, Founder, that's pretty flippy, right? The Founder is super flippy. I haven't thrown the Founder, but I'm looking it up on Infinite Discs right now. I did not know Founder was Discmania. I feel bad. I should have known that. I tend to know Discmania and Latitude discs. Yeah, 5.6 -4 1. That would be a great beginner disc. That's the sweet spot of speed where a lot of people struggle to grip a putter well and throw it. So it's a mid-range, not a fairway driver, flippy, not a lot of fade. That's a great choice. Doc says, tried them, Brandon. Didn't work out great for me, but glad they love them. Oh, I skipped. Backing up. I've skipped chat. Doc says, what does it compare to? Brandon says, Lat 64 has a great zero gravity starter set if you have a noodle arm or just starting. Got my wife and daughter each a set, and they range from 120 to 130 grams. Whew, that's flippy. That's going to be so flippy. But you're right. For noodle arms, for young people, that's going to be fantastic. They're going to be able to actually throw a disc more easily, get good distance out of it because they're not going to be overpowering it. So yeah, good shout for the zero gravity starter set for people who are suited for it in height or in strength or in age. Doc says, tried them, Brandon. Didn't work great for me, but glad they love them. Yeah, they were too overstable for Doc. But I'm still glad that they're trying. They're trying to help people. Doc says, DD's coming out with their own line of them, and I believe they float. There you go. I imagine zero gravity stuff would float. 120 grams is going to struggle to sink. Brandon says, can't wait for my gyro box. Did the trash pan swap this year too? That's fun. You got a lot going on. I watched, somewhat. I saw a gyro box brick and mortar one get opened yesterday, and 15 discs in there. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so many discs. And what's the central disc that's guaranteed? I can't remember what it is, but it looked cool. And then my buddy let me throw the Echo, and I was like, thank you. And it's good. The Echo's good. It's stable. I do like it. Not overstable, but it's dead straight, which I do like. I do miss my Echo that would turn over a little bit. It's very sad, but it is a good disc for sure. Doc says, don't know if I'm doing any mystery boxes. Nothing's tickling my fancy. Yeah, Doc's preference over a mystery box is buy a bunch of stuff on Whatnot, forgot what he bought, and then when it shows up, it's a mystery box in its own right. Brandon says, I did see that. My wife and daughter love them. That's great. Heck yeah. Doc says, I wonder if Lat and Dynamic trying to compete with dinosaur discs. Dino has good lightweight discs, says Baller. Interesting. I don't know if I've thrown any Dino. I don't think I've thrown any Dino discs at all. Boost, Particle, Echo, and Wave are the ones. Yeah, Boost, I think, is the one that was selling for the most. I think that was like the central disc. But the Particle, Echo, and Wave, those are the ones that you know. Or it's two particles. Yeah, the Echo would be like my one where I'd be like, I know I'm going for the Echo. You know, I want a good Echo out of this. Boost. Oh, Boost is the brick and mortar. Thank you, 21 Sabian. Boost is the brick and mortar exclusive. Hopefully, can grab a gyro box in time. Mine last year was a great pull. There you go. Good clarification. Yeah, thanks, guys. I didn't do my research into the gyro box. I just saw that somebody or that Kyle was opening one, and I was like, oh, discs. Look at that. And he's like, yeah, I'm selling the Boost for $55, and I was like, oh. So you got 14 discs for like whatever the cost is of like $55 off of the box. I don't know how much the box costs. 120? Doc says Discount Discs does have a make your own mystery box. Okay. Doc says I don't think you would. Dino is for kids. Don't think anything over 140. Even so, I would think I would have like picked one up at some point and been like, Dino disc, I'm gonna throw this. But I haven't. 17 discs for 150. That's pretty good, especially if you're flipping the boost, because if you don't want it, $100 for 16 discs, that's pretty good. That's not bad. Doc says, wait, I'm wrong. 129 is their max weight, says the internet. There you go. Brandon says regular gyro is 120 for 11 discs. Okay. Gotcha. Mr. Man says there's no woods where I live. Are you in Kansas? Yeah, no woods. That's crazy with, Charlotte being all woods. Like every disc golf course, except for Frank List, is just jammed into the woods, trees everywhere. Landing in the fairway is so important in a lot of courses because you're just so punished if you're off the fairway, especially like Nevin, where you're basically just pitching back out to the fairway so you can throw your next shot. And you still could, not get there. Definitely interesting. Now, I did play 3 years in Florida, and there were wooded courses, but it was generally more open. Trees, water, still obstacles to throw around or beyond in the fairway. But generally speaking, we didn't have that many heavily wooded courses so much. They were kind of like the standout anomalies. It was a super wooded course. It's like, oh, what was it called? Maggie's or whatever in Live Oak. It's so wooded. Everybody's like, it's super hard and it's super wooded. I believe them. But yeah, definitely interesting to go from one to the other. The golf style disc golf is definitely a big change. Joseph says deviled eggs is the answer to your survey. It wasn't an option on there, but I will allow for a write-in vote for deviled eggs. And thank you for the 5, Joseph. Really appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. You are greatly appreciated. I hope that your Thanksgiving has been great, and I hope you got to enjoy some deviled eggs, or that it's on the menu tonight. I do like a good deviled egg, or as my Baptist church called them, blessed eggs. I do like them. They're great. I can only have so many, but I want a lot of them. They're delicious. I actually struggled a lot on the 4 things that I was going to include in the poll, and I do want to shout out, which I am slightly surprised. Maybe it's just growing up in Michigan or something. The mashed potatoes is losing completely at only 8%, polling at 8%, with green bean casserole at 17%, almost double, which I'm impressed with. Stuffing at 28%, but turkey ham at 47%, which makes sense. It's the central idea of a Thanksgiving dinner. It's turkey or ham. So I'm not surprised that half of people almost are saying the best Thanksgiving food is the central meal. But a little bit of a surprise to me, I would think mashed potatoes is kind of the mainstay that a lot of people love. But far be it from me to assume what people like. My favorite Thanksgiving food is mac and cheese. You might say, is that really Thanksgiving food? It was for me. And my grandma and I loved having mac and cheese. We we probably had the majority of it between the two of us. Also, we would like bake a French bread in the oven and put, chop it up and put butter on it. Oh, so good. So, so good. Doc says, who's the $17 for 150 discs had a phone call? That's the brick and mortar gyro boxes. 21 Sabian says, I'm about to start only playing Frank Lisk until all the leaves get trampled down enough. Yeah, that's probably fair. I remember playing the Charlotte Roar Open, at Angry Beaver, December 28th last year, and I don't remember leaves being a problem. So in the last few weeks, I'm thinking, in 1 month, are all these leaves going to be gone like last year, or this year? Are the leaves just going to stay forever? Like, what's going on? Did we have fall really late this year? It is a bit of a problem. Like, losing discs is a pain no matter what, but when it's just on the ground but you can't see it, it's so annoying. Doc says, Joseph, I think I agree. There you go. Blessed Eggs is the better name. Doc says, seeing that brick and mortar a bit far from here, that's annoying. Mr. Man says, I'm still oblivious to disc golf, so don't judge me, but are you allowed to bounce it on trees like Captain America? So allowed to, I would say, is kind of like, yes, but it's kind of the opposite. Like, you don't want to. You don't want to hit trees. Obviously, Captain America, good reference for bouncing his shield off of things. You are allowed to, like, you can hit any obstacle other than people. And, like, you can roll a disc, you can hit trees. There are even some courses that will have like a fence or a wall at some point. And I think Paul Macbeth at Worlds 2021 even threw one shot that he bounced off of a net or a wall to get himself around a corner. Like, you can do that as long as it's an obstacle. It's meant to prevent you, but yeah, you can hit it and bounce off of it if it's to your advantage. But yeah, trees. The only time I can think where you would want to hit a tree would be, I can think of two situations. So you would want to hit trees when, for instance, the shot shape is such that at a certain angle, trees will stop you and drop you down in a certain place that you want to be. Maybe if you can throw over some trees and then hit some and filter down toward the basket, like Plinko, that can be a strategy. Or you can play off of a tree if your putt is impossible to hit and there's a tree right next to the basket and there's a chance that you bounce off into the basket. But that's a very niche situation. Like, I've only maybe one of every 10 courses has a potential basket like that. Sugar Creek has a basket like that. I can't think of the name, and it's bothering me now. Not Winthrop, but Camp Canaan. Thank you. Popped in my own head. Camp Canaan has a hole like that where there's trees surrounding the basket, and maybe in that situation you're blocked, but you can try to putt off a tree and bounce in. So generally speaking, no, you're not trying to hit trees. You're trying to avoid them. But yes, you're allowed to. Blessed eggs are pickled eggs. Yeah. Green bean casserole isn't often. I feel like it's a pretty common Thanksgiving food. I just feel like it isn't a favorite. Like, it's just always there. It's the mainstay. Brandon says, if you're not hitting trees, you're not playing disc golf. Brent doesn't hit trees because, like in the Scottish play, they move for him. I'm lost on that one, but I can vouch that Brent hits trees a lot. I have it on camera. 21 Sabian says, last year I know Spencer was doing a lot of leaf blowing, but I think he moved and I haven't seen him out in a while. Man, so a legend that we didn't lose him, he didn't die, but like we lost a legend in that sense. That's a bummer. Like, that's a really great guy doing that for everybody. That is too bad. But cool on him for doing it when he was here. Maybe he's just doing it at different courses now. Doc says, Mr. Man, never fear asking about disc golf. We do love it, but we understand some people don't care or just don't know or a combination of the two. Yeah, it's totally fair. There are very few questions that I will make fun of you for asking, and they usually won't be disc golf questions unless it's Doc. Brandon says, I wish I was blessed like that. I hit way too many. Yes. Some discs even have the Captain Shield stamp on them. That's true. I have seen that. Yeah, Mr. Man, you want that one? That's a cool design for sure. It's very, very fun. Best way to miss a tree is to imagine that it's a basket. Wisdom. Doc says, Mr. Man, some courses even use falling trees to keep trees from rolling. He said he means discs from rolling, like they use trees to block rollers. This is true. Now I can't think of the course. Something on the Pro Tour. There's the one where the foxes were peeing on the discs. Was that what it was? Is that Idlewild? All right, I totally forgot, but I have a disc to open. It's right next to me. I think I even mentioned it, but I've got myself this Project Grip Brave, not to spoil it. Oh, wait. Okay, I was going to say that the knife is not helpful, but I guess it's kind of helpful. Yes, in there. That works. What if it's a Rive again? That was such a bummer. No, it was the Grace instead of the Brave, which it threw me off so much because I opened it and I saw the A and I was like, the Brave? This just says Grace. Boom. We've got ourselves a Project Grip Brave. Finally, I do miss the orange one that I had. So sad that I lost that one in Missouri. But it is gently used, but it doesn't look damaged. It really is just kind of scuffed around the edges. And I got it for $15. So I'm very happy about that. 174 grams. And the plastic feels really good. I'm excited to get this back in the bag and be able to have now 3 plastics of Brave. Technically 2 plastics, but 3 iterations of Brave in the bag that are all going to fly just a little bit differently. They're really going to have my gently flippy fairway driver slot covered. So I'm really happy. I'm glad. And I love a blue. Don't get me wrong, I love a blue. But that orange was something special. With my other discs, there's an Australian sport, a bit like rugby, where they use discs. They use disc golf. Interesting. Oh, yeah. Are you talking like Ultimate Frisbee? No tackles? Yeah. Brave is the GOAT. Brave is one of the best discs. I mean, so fantastic. Such a great disc. Ultimate discs use a Frisbee, a bit bigger and lighter than disc golf discs. Yes, I've shown it. So yeah, Ultimate Frisbee would use this. And yeah, you can dive and catch and block each other, but you can't. It's not a contact sport. Rackle Owen says, was that a casual medieval stylized dagger you just showed and didn't acknowledge? Yeah, I guess so. My buddy gave this to me years back, and I think it's pretty cool. And it's nice and stabby. I use it to open packages of discs that get sent to me. It's a very useful little dagger. It's my equivalent of the sax knife. Although it's not true. That's bigger. That's okay. Mr. Man says, forgot the name, Doc, but I remember watching something about it a few years ago, and it stuck with me. Yeah, it's interesting. It does sound kind of like Ultimate, but it does sound different than Ultimate Frisbee. Doc says, Mr. Man, we also have Guts, which is like dodgeball with disc. That's true. 21 Savings says, no, throwing that new Brave on blind shots for at least a month. That's correct. That is factual. I'm going to test it in the field, use it on particular lines, and hang on to it for a while. Even the orange, it was a bright orange. I would have waited on that. But you're right. That blunted blue, that slight faded clarity to it, not happening. At least put your name and number. I mean, that's the least I can do, and I will, but it's still not good enough. I had my, well, I guess I didn't have my name on my Project Grip one because I was still reviewing it. I hadn't done the review yet. Doc says, "Oh well, I apologize. It was medieval dagger." And Oracle says, "It's all right. Now we both know." And Ranger's Apprentice reference, heck yeah, that's absolutely correct. I knew that you would get it. I don't know if anyone else would get it. Joseph says, "How often do you play?" If I play 2 days in a row, I'm stiff as a board and I'm 29. So I don't want to say that I have insight into your game, but for a long time, I was struggling to play 2 days in a row and I couldn't play 4 days a week. Like it was just tough on me. And I got a lesson from Johnny McRae and I found out I really wasn't following through. I would throw and then I would kind of stop my arm and body. And it was all of the momentum of my body and the energy was, instead of dissipating, it was absorbed by my muscles and my back. And I got to the point where I would throw a shot and my back would twinge and I would like sometimes fall to my knees in pain. And I'm like, I can't live like this. I can't. And I was having to take like multiple day breaks before I could play again. When I learned how to follow through, I was able to play multiple rounds of disc golf in a day, multiple days in a row. And I mean, I played, I think, 12 rounds in 7 days earlier this year. And I was tired, but I wasn't hurt. So I would definitely look into follow through and make sure that you're following through. If you're aching like that, I would say it's likely that your form is the issue, not that you're playing disc golf in general. I would think that whatever it is that you're doing is setting up your body to improperly handle your mechanics so that you're just being more tough on your body than you should be. So I would definitely do some research into form, specifically make sure that you're following through. And what I mean by follow through, by the way, is that like when you plant on your right foot and you throw, your left foot should swing around past your right foot. You should let your body spin in place a little bit so that your left arm, your left foot are past and beyond. Like if you plant at the end of the tee pad and it's not a drop off, your left foot should land in the grass. Your left arm should be leading your body toward your target after you're done throwing. Because at that point, you're throwing the disc and then you're following through, so all of the energy is slowly dissipating as you turn instead of being absorbed into your back. So I don't know if that's precisely what you're doing, if it's helpful at all, but that was a huge, huge thing for me. It transformed my game. I have thanked Johnny McRae multiple times, and I credit him as a major milestone in my disc golf trajectory of my life. And he's great. I really appreciate him. Doc says, "Is there a sport where they do it with dogs except the halftime shows?" I mean, the only thing I can think of is like four, but no, I don't think that there's a sport where they do it with dogs specifically. Oh, and to answer your other question, Joseph, I play 5 days a week right now, sometimes multiple rounds in a day. I don't try to overdo too much. Try to get my putting in and everything. But some weeks I play eight rounds in a week. Doc says, "Not how good you play, but if you hit a good shot in front of a lassie." Jake says, "What disc behind you has the most use, like a personal one you prefer?" So in a way, almost kind of none of these, just because these are on the shelf, and I have my bag of discs in my car with my other discs that I throw a lot. But as an example, the Brave is one of the discs that I throw the most. It's a gently understable fairway driver. I have two in the bag. I just actually opened a Project Grip Brave a few minutes ago. And so I'm going to have three Braves in the bag. So the Brave is definitely just one of those discs where I'm throwing it all the time. It's only a 7-speed, but it has 6 glide. It's gently understable. And in tournament on Sunday, I birdied a 390-foot hole with a Brave from the circle. I got to 18 feet. So the thing can absolutely rip. It can go far, and I hit a line in the woods. Longs, hole 11 at Eastway Longs. So the Brave is great. It can do things that distance drivers can do. Not all of the things, but I'm not on the Pro Tour. And it can also kind of disc down to be similar to a mid-range in some ways. It's just such a versatile disc. Also, do I have any? I probably lost all of them. It's a different plastic, but the Enigma, I have multiple in the bag and in the car. Oh, wait, is this my other leopard? Yeah, Sarah, this is my Leopard 3 that I thought I didn't have. I forgot it was so flippy. I thought I had it over in the medium, stable, but it's in my flippy section over here. Totally forgot. Doc says there's a few frisbee dog activities. They do some distance jumps into water using frisbees or balls. Joseph says you're actually right. I do that without the falling down. Thank you, and I hope you never get to that place because it's like fire igniting in the middle of your back. So yeah, I hope that really helps. I hope that getting some follow through in and kind of spinning through can really help you. Mr. Man says, I've seen that. It's quite funny when the dogs are so focused on the frisbee, some of them end up landing on their backs upside down. That is hilarious. I've seen it. You watch them like rotating through the air in slow motion. So great. Doc says, no, yes, non-spinning standstills or X steps can be rough on the knees and ankles as well. Will you take the 3 Braves on a solo round to see which one is your new top one? No, they won't be top. They're just going to be different uses. So my blue flippier one, I'm still going to use it on hyzer flip lines, uphills, and turnovers. The pink one's going to be my dead straight, and then I'll see how the project grip flies, which should be in between, and I'll use it for the Brave shots that are in between, because that hole that I got with my more stable pink Brave, that 390-foot shot, hole 11 at Eastway, I would love a tiny bit more turn. So I didn't have to start the shot with a little bit of anhyzer, but I could start the shot flat and let it drift into it. But that's an in-between slot where the pink Brave, I have to give it a touch of anhyzer, but the blue Brave, I have to throw it with a touch of hyzer and hope I flip early enough to miss a tree. The project grip should be right in between. Should throw it flat and it should drift in for me, but come back. Doc says, or what's your process on new discs? My process is to only have 2 new discs in the bag at a time so that I can get multiple reps with them, multiple throws, start to figure out exactly what they do, and then I kind of match them up against the discs that are most similar that are in my bag, and I say, is it the same thing? If it's different, how different is it? Does it bring anything new to the table? And if the answer is no, it doesn't, it's not going to go in the bag unless I trade it. Because if it doesn't do anything new for me, it brings no advantage in and of itself, then it's not a benefit to the bag. And then if it does bring a benefit to the bag, then it's probably going to stay, unless the benefit is slight or for a course that I don't like, only for a niche course that I'm never playing or something like that. So my process with new discs is to have my bag, which is like 16, and then I have 2 floating discs that are extra. And over time, I get throws in with them. I test it if it works on this line, on that line. Does it handle the wind? Can I flip it up or not? When I know what that disc does, I know where it fits in the bag or if it doesn't fit in the bag at all. Mr. Man says, what's the main difference between a disc golf disc and a frisbee? I'm sure Doc is explaining everything, but the main difference is weight distribution. The frisbee weight is really distributed pretty evenly throughout the disc, and then some of it is in the rim, and it can only handle so much power because it's understable and it's going to turn over into a roller or be super wobbly. But the disc golf discs are designed so that there's a lot more weight in the rim instead of the center of the disc. With that, the weight distribution allows them to fly so much further. And what I mean by the word stable or overstable is that it handles the spin rate of the disc much better than a frisbee does. You get this going at a high spin, it's going to go off to the right. It's going to spin fast and go to the right. But when you get a disc going at least something like this FD1, when you get something like this going at a high spin rate, it doesn't go over like that to the right. It might drift, but it's still going straight. So it handles the torque, it handles the spin rate and speed that you throw it on, and has more distance potential. It's designed to go far versus the frisbee, which is designed to float and be caught. That's the main difference. All right, let me run through a couple comments. Frisbee is bigger and lighter. Discs are usually 170. Frisbees can be 120 to 140, although ultimate discs are almost like 170. Like they're similar weight. Can you show them the ultimate? Yes. With the disc golf disc that's not a condor, yes, that makes sense. Was thinking frisbees look more hollow. In a sense, it's kind of how it is. They're not technically more hollow, but the weight is distributed over bigger. It's either lighter or the weight is distributed over a bigger space. And if a disc was that big, it would be way heavier. So discs are heavier for their size, with the weight distribution being out toward the rim. Country says that's the way my trails are. Are you saying hollow or weight distribution? Doc says only 2 new discs at a time. Geez, so you even do themed bags. Yes, my theme is playing as best as I can. Country says happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Hope you had a great day, at least up to this point, and maybe are enjoying some more food later, time with family. But I hope it's been great, and I hope that you've been able to be grateful for the good things in your life. I'm grateful for all of God's blessings in my life and everything that He's done for me, the good people that I have, all of you guys as my audience, and the ability to hang out with you and chat with you. The security that I have, the ability to play disc golf, the fact that I'm able to be in Charlotte, the successes I've had this year, everything. I'm so grateful and happy to glorify God with what He's given me. Today is a great day to remember that gratitude. Doc says, you also, country, and a merry Black Friday. Doc says, and I say mostly Mr. Man because it's always exceptions. That's true. Can you show Mr. a gyro MVP? Yes. Gyro. Right here. So MVP designed their gyro discs with this plastic being a different plastic than what's on the inside. And is this fission? Yeah, this is fission. So basically, this middle plastic is a lighter weight plastic, so they can really put all of the weight on the outside to allow it to fly further, and it's supposed to fly the same way, it just goes further. Sometimes I think they mess up the fission plastics, but generally speaking, the fission plastics are supposed to fly really far, and some of them do. Although the dimension I had was not a 0.3 that it was supposed to be. I flipped that thing over. Mr. Man says, I loved physics growing up, so I can visualize everything you're talking about. Excellent. I figured you could track, but that's even better that it's more natural for you to kind of envision things. But yeah, you can kind of see how the design of the Frisbee is kind of a starting point, and then they intentionally developed off the Frisbee to create discs. Technically a Frisbee, is a disc, but these disc golf discs are intentional technological advancements beyond what the Frisbee was capable of for the sport of disc golf, and of course not designed to be caught. So it is pretty cool to kind of see that development. Doc says, ultimate discs are 170-ish. My bad. Thanks, Brad. Sorry, I'm not an ultimate guy. Yeah. Well, I was shocked because I think the first couple of streams I said that Frisbees were lighter. And I think you're right. Some Frisbees are lighter generally because a lot of Frisbees are smaller. But the ultimate disc does push that 170. And I found that out and I was like, oh, they're the same. But of course, it's huge. Like it's a massive disc compared to the driver, which is so compact, and it's clearly it's like a sports car. It's aerodynamic. It's built for speed as opposed to the minivan, which also should not try to catch. Doc says, if you're a physics guy, look into MVP. MVP does kind of design their reputation around being very scientific, and they even have like mistake discs are called laboratory seconds, where they have imperfections and they sell for less, but they're very much that kind of weird, an innovative company. And they do talk, they're working with the gyro technology, and they're talking about their developments that they're making for the sport. Doc says we have a friendly argument if the rim on MVP helps or not in the disc golf community. Yeah, that's fair. I think the long story short is that they do help, but a bunch of the discs are imperfect and aren't better. If that makes sense. Like the gyro technology helps, but they have discs where the gyro doesn't offset other mistakes they make and it balances itself out. But I think there are gyro discs that fly further, a bunch of them, just not all of them. My opinion. Doc says, got into disc golf in my late 30s, so Ultimate was not a route that I ever took. That's fair. Ultimate is very physical. Even in college, I was kind of like, I'm not old for this, but I'm like, this is so, like, I could hurt myself doing this. What am I doing? I'm risking my life. And I was on the college soccer team, so I was like, what am I doing? It's fun, though. Very fun. Doc says kids and household frisbees usually 120, 140, kind of like basketballs, have different weights. Yep. What do you mean some are imperfect, the molds or the particular runs? I guess what I'm trying to say is when they're doing the gyro technology, they're sometimes executing it improperly. So they're distributing more weight toward the rim, but they're off on dimensions or they're off on shape a little bit because of redesign, and it offsets the advantage of the gyro. The advantage of the weight distribution is offset by imperfections that slow the disc down, and it ends up being a similar result, even though it should be better on paper. So I think that gyro technology works when it's done right, and I think that they have had kinks to work out along the way. And I think some reviews, like Drew Gibson has done some reviews on them, have maybe even gotten some of those discs that just didn't do it quite right. But they should fly further, and I think Discmanias have been proven to work. Like they've been measurably further. Good question. Mr. Man says, Doc, I'm still trying to figure out if the different materials that make up the rim would make a big difference, or if that's the actual design of the product that is the final say. So the biggest difference to consider with the rim is it can be a higher quality, more durable plastic that hits trees and handles the hit better. And the plastic in the middle of the disc feels better for grip. That's one of the biggest things. And when you have the whole disc made of the plastic in the middle, the whole disc would be light and the whole disc would bend when you hit a tree. But if you made the whole disc like the plastic on the outside, then the disc would be too heavy to be PDJ legal and it wouldn't be thrown as far. So the advantage of doing the two is you do the heavier premium plastic rim so that you handle the tree hits and you distribute the weight for distance, and then the middle plastic has mini air bubbles in it, and is designed to feel good in the hand and throw well and be lighter weight, so the whole disc stays within the range of PDGA acceptable weight. Lucas says, W, thanks for hopping on, and happy Thanksgiving to you and to Josh as well. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Hope that you have had a great Thanksgiving so far. Maybe enjoyed some time with family or friends, able to enjoy some delicious food, and maybe even have more time to relax with the people that you care about for the rest of the day and find a chance to be grateful for the good things that we have in our lives, which not saying all of our lives are great. There can be a lot of chaos in life, but to find things to be grateful for is a really healthy thing to do. 21 Sabian says MVP consistency can definitely be off or can be spotty, especially with the dome and different runs. Yeah, I think that's along the lines of my thought process. Is it feels like some of the inconsistency messes up them successfully adding distance on average, to where a lot of their discs don't add distance because they're inconsistent. But maybe not. Doc says, yeah, when I started, I always just thought MVP was for not damaging the discs, but it does mess up the seasoning of the discs. Yeah, it does. That's true. That does make a difference. Um, the what? Is that a disc? Oh, it is a disc. Sorry, and I'm muttering to myself. Oh, I have not thrown it, and I didn't even know. I hadn't even heard of it. So Lucas says, if you have thrown them, which do you prefer, the aspect of bokeh, which is a new disc coming out? I think that's probably got to be a German word. A new control driver in the Simon line of discs, described as a slower trail. So if it's a slower trail, then it's probably like a River Brave slot. It's probably going to be a 7.5 -1 or -6 or a 7.6 -1.2, something along the lines of the Brave or the River. That's what I imagine. I have not thrown it. I didn't know about it. Now that I am knowledgeable, I'm very interested. A slower trail sounds fantastic, and it sounds like something between the Brave and the FD1. So I don't know how to answer your question, but those are my thoughts so far, and with no knowledge. Doc says, afraid the turkey and cough medicine is making the science go over my head today. Brad, so you feel if MVP could make a run of, say, 100 and just pick out one or two, they would fly farther than other brands. So I'm saying if you pick the wrong one or two, they could fly identically. But if you pick the right one or two, they might fly further. I'm saying not all of the discs are done right. That's what I'm saying. At least I believe this has been the case. I'm not saying it still is, but I do that has been kind of the issue, because people have tested, like they've done evaluations where they test the MVP discs and normal discs, and they've been the same. And I think it's because it was kind of like a defective MVP gyro disc because they did something wrong or was inconsistent or the shape was off. That's my assertion. I think that there are just enough failed products that don't add distance. They're still good discs, but they don't add distance, to have the multiple tests I've done where they're like, these don't do anything. And people being like, they don't go any further. Also, a lot of people just don't throw that well. So they don't have the capacity to actually do a scientific test. You'd really have to do it on like the ACE machine, that Simon that they did at Maple Hill, where they had a disc launcher, do multiple aces in a row. They need one of those to test discs. You need to test 10 and 10 5 times, and then say, what was the average distance of all those discs? Okay, gyro technology does work. Or no, they're identical, or they're within 3 feet. Like, it's no different. Mr. Man says, that's a great answer. I appreciate it. You definitely know your craft. Thank you very much. I hope to convey things well. I definitely go for accuracy over being succinct, which is why I'm always behind in the comment section, but I appreciate it, and I'm glad that I'm able to talk it through. I have done some disc reviews of Streamline and MVP discs, so I did have to do some research into fission plastic in particular, so I knew what I was talking about. So I'm glad that it kind of paid off a little bit. Oh gosh. It says Japanese word meaning blur. Interesting. Pick the one or two that would fly the best of the run. So I think if you pick the one or two that are the best of the run, they will fly further. 100%. And Doc says he does, Mr. Man, but never tell him that. Matthew, I doubt that I want to hear your joke. So the answer is probably not. Allergy Animation says, have you ever played a sport besides disc golf? Yes, I played 15 years of soccer and actually had a college scholarship for playing soccer on the JV team. And I sat the bench. But hey, it helped pay for college. I graduated debt free, so thank you Cornerstone University for the scholarship for playing soccer. Really appreciate it. But yeah, I competed in soccer for 15 years. I went to a small high school. We had 120 people in our high school, 32 people in my graduating class. So having a varsity and a JV soccer team in high school meant slim pickings. If you really wanted to play soccer, you were gonna play soccer if you cared about it. And then my senior year, I ended up being a forward striker, and I ended up scoring, I think, 14, 15 or 16 goals that year. And I was the leading goal scorer for the season. But it was also a very mediocre season for our team. We lost about half our games. And years, maybe 3 years before, our team was great. The year before, our team was very good. But I was or 2 years before, it was very good. But I was JV. And then when I stepped up to varsity, we lost 10 out of 11 starters graduated. So we just recycled it like a new team. So that took a bit. Good question. 21 Sabian says a video with the Ace machine throwing gyro versus Discmania Q line versus an old Innova Champion Plastic might break the disc golf internet 100%. And I would love to see it. Love to see it. Doc says he did play that fake football some call soccer. Football. Not football. Football. LG says cool. Lucas says, have you thrown the time lapse, the fission one, or have you thrown the retooled one? I have the original time lapse. That's a Emperor. So I have the original run of the Neutron plastic. I have thrown one fission time lapse once, and I do think that this is way more overstable. The fission that I threw was not overstable. It was more neutral to stable. I have not thrown the retooled time lapse. I have not thrown the retooled. LG says, I'm a goalkeeper in soccer, but haven't really mastered it yet. Yeah. Goalkeeping is tough because in a sense, you feel responsible for everything that you miss. It feels like a mistake. But in reality, any shot on goal is the fault of your team. So you're there to prevent, easy chip shots and things from going in, but you're not responsible for people who take a pot shot on goal from just outside the 18 when your team should have prevented them from having that shot in the first place. So always remember that, do your best and train well. But if you're getting shot on, that's your team's fault. And if you make a brain dead mistake, of course, you can mess up. But when shots go in, you just have to remember that you're a team, you're a unit, and your team failed you. And sometimes you're going to fail the team too, but it's not all on you. It doesn't just fall on the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper can't win games by himself. Except for USA's goalkeeper, like 8 years ago, who basically let nothing in. He was incredible. Mr. Man says Doc is called football. It's called football. That's okay. Brad thinking pros and molds. Now I wonder, what amount of distance do you think pros get from first pick at discs in a run? Oh, are you asking because they can pick the best? Maybe they're getting the best discs that actually go far? I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe the pros throwing far is just an illusion. No, Albert Tam threw my time lapse 450 and he almost he flipped it over too much. And he literally threw it and he said, "Oh, flippy." And I went, "Oh, it's so overstable for me." They throw so far. Now, I imagine, yes, maybe they get like a 5% benefit or something to their disc quality because they're taking the best. But they can't throw all of them. So, They retooled the time lapse. Yep. Talk about to open a can of worms with comment about football. Doc opens as many cans of worms as he can. They don't affect me. What do they retool on the time lapse? Probably the flight numbers. The way it flies. Lucas says, I have no clue They did it. My dad got one, threw it in a crazy headwind, and it went to the left immediately. So they're more overstable. Maybe some of the early ones weren't as overstable as they liked. Mine is, but I had a buddy say that his was flippy, and I was like, I don't think it's flippy. He threw a super wobbly forehand, and it went and turned over, and he's like, see, it's flippy. And I was like, okay, buddy, sure, sure, if you say so. When your wobble is 18, anything's flippy. A tilt is flippy if your wobble is 18 degrees of wobble. LG says, I catch long shots, but if it comes close, I have a 35% chance of blocking it. I mean, that's really fair because if the other team is good, they should be able to miss you. So sometimes they mess up or you're quick and you can make a save. But yeah, I mean, you'll get there. Keep practicing. Practice getting to the ground fast. Practice, not. I did this to one of our goalkeepers my freshman year. I walked up to him and I said, Ian, don't ever let someone do this. And I stepped over the ball and megged him, and he like clanked his knees together. His feet were too set apart. He clanked his knees together and it went right between his legs. I scored on him like that. And to his credit, I don't think I ever saw him get scored on between his legs again. So yeah, make sure you get that knee down fast enough. Make sure that you're covering the gap between your legs as a goalie and not letting goals in to the goal behind you. I'm gonna move on, change subject. Doc says, LG, this will sound stupid, but have you ever thought like the Rocky training chasing a chicken? Okay. Doc says, I mean, have you seen pros picking discs? They do take a bunch at a time. It's true, they take a huge box of them. But they're also like losing them and throwing so many times. Yeah, I'm guessing they are picking the best. That does help. But you have to think that other runs have a best, so somebody gets a best disc. It's just not necessarily us. Somebody else got it. Doc says, me, I'm just like, OMG, it's so clear, grab it and run off. Sounds about right. Mr. Man says, I'll get the 3-pack, but I'll try kicking it first. Yeah, I've kicked frisbees, hurts. I've kicked discs, hurts a lot more. Wouldn't do it. I used to try because I played so much soccer. I used to toss a frisbee and like spin it and then kind of like do a banana kick and see how far I could kick it. And I got it to fly a few times. Not that far, but LG says, no, what does that mean to the Rocky chasing a chicken? I don't know, buddy. You and me, we're both lost. Doc's in his own world. Referencing stuff from the 80s. Is Rocky that old? Yeah, Rocky's like... Is Rocky 70s? Oh, is our stream frozen? I'm gonna check our stream. Ooh. Nope, looks like we're running. All right, let me... Is the stream running well? I have it like spinning in circles on my laptop here, so if you can hear me, please comment something and say, yeah, I can hear you. That'd be very helpful. In the meantime, Rocky came out in 1976. Okay, good for me. Yeah, I can't tell if this is actually frozen. Let me double check. Yeah, it seems like it's good. Okay. I'll just keep rolling with this. I'm guessing that you guys can't hear me, but I'm not sure. It seems like the stream is functioning. Everything seems to be good. But you guys, yeah, I don't know. Nobody's saying that the stream is frozen. Maybe I'll just reload this. Hey, Todd is here. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but welcome to the stream, Todd. Appreciate you coming by. It's been a minute. It's been a little while, Todd. All right, I don't know what is wrong with my stream. Okay, here we go. Let's see if that works. I'll check it again. Come on. Don't be like that. Okay. Maybe it's just my laptop. Sorry for the awkwardness. I use my laptop to monitor, and now it's completely like on the fritz, and I can't tell if the stream is functioning correctly at the moment. So I'm gonna just try to open up YouTube again. Okay. All right, let's see if it's working, and it's an ad. Once again, I apologize. Just have to make sure that I'm monitoring the stream and that it's working. Hey, okay, I get comments. Comments says we can hear you. There's no lag. All right, good. That was 3 minutes of me looking like I'm really stupid while all of you guys are leaving comments like normal. But it's just my laptop monitoring instead of the actual stream. So that's better than it could be. All right, we're back. Rocky is 70s. Yes, I did find that out. Did you vote for green bean casserole soup in the poll or stuffing soup? Ooh, that's a great question. Ham soup, no. Mac and cheese soup is my favorite. Mashed potato soup can kind of get there though. We got green bean casserole and mashed potatoes at 14%, stuffing at 24%, and turkey ham at 49%, pushing half. All right, okay, going to go, and I got to catch up a little bit. Mr. Vids says, this is my first time joining your live. Hoping you could shout out my channel. I don't do channel shout outs unless I've shouted the channel out. So I won't take a side on this at all. But I read your comment, so it's kind of halfway the same thing. But I have no endorsement of that channel. I have no idea what it is. So just covering my own butt. Okay. Todd says, before even I was born. Man, just Doc was alive back then. All right. Doc says, everyone say yes for Brad. Stream's good. Yeah. I wish that it hadn't lagged, but hey, at least it was rolling the whole time and we didn't have to restart. That's always a pain. Todd says, everybody have their Thanksgiving disc golf round? I did forehand only. Nice. I didn't get out. I took a nice break today. I played 2 rounds yesterday and filmed one of them. So it was nice to just sit in, get caught up on some work, and I'm going to do a little bit of editing later tonight. But I did have that feeling of like, oh, I didn't get around it on Thanksgiving. Too bad. Doc says was going to, but got a bit sickly. Hopefully tomorrow. Or been a bit sickly. Todd says prayer for healing. Do you feel it? Be quick acting. Doc says, thanks, Todd. I feel bad for getting prayer. Nothing bad, just the weather changing. I mean, it's not like prayer's wasted. But yeah, a little weather changing crummies really stinks. Mr. Man says, get well soon, Doc. You need to look in the mirror and get your diagnosis. Doc says, problem is apples are on sale. They keep me away. 21 Sapien says, I had some nice ace runs at Eager today. Nearly got hole 17 with my detour. That's a fun one. I would love to run that on camera a few times. I filmed a practice round at Eager. I didn't really go for any ace runs because I was trying to get like a tee shot in the circle on every hole. But the Zone SS, I think I could give a touch more to kind of get it up, instead of under the basket. But I think that's my go-to on that one for the ace run. Todd sent a thank you for 500 joules. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone, but specifically Todd because he's the best. Also, Mr. Man for donating earlier, and Jax for donating earlier. All of you guys are legends. Everybody loves the meats, which is why Arby's is popular. Yes, they do. Yep, 50% votes for turkey and ham, officially half. I mean, it makes sense. They're the main course, the main meal. I did almost put mac and cheese on there, and I actually almost put like Taco Bell or something as a fun one, but there are too many like good Thanksgiving foods. I couldn't just leave one of them out to put in a joke. But I am eating enchiladas tonight, so. Doc says, Brad, maybe an North Carolina thing. Mine's been kicking me off every now and then. Oh, thanks. Doc with the 5 says, to help Brad get some soup. Thank you. I think I'm going to have soup this week. Cheeseburger soup coming soon. I made enchiladas for this last week of meals, so I think cheeseburger soup is next. What a legend. Seek Truth says, Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Hope your day's been great. Hope you've been able to enjoy time with family, get some peace and relaxation in your life, and be grateful for the good things that we have. Doc says, by the way, Monday prayers were appreciated. Took mom shopping and she did well. She's had some mental issues and taking her out can be an adventure. That is always tough to deal with, Doc. Um, that's a big burden. Sorry, I don't want to phrase it as if parents are burdens on children, but dealing with those things can feel like a burden. It can be tough to experience that with someone that you care about, that you love and are taking care of and helping. That is a lot, and I'm glad that things went okay. Mr. Pan with the 5 pounds says 2 cans of soup is better than one. Thank you guys. That actually is perfectly timed and very helpful. And I'll share a picture of the soup that I make this week and shout you guys out. You guys are legends, and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Perfect day of gratitude. Mr. Man says, Doc, one of the requirements of my job is to work in 2-man teams, and the guy I work with is named Bradley. What are the odds? It's interesting. Bradley is like, it's a broadly common name, but I never feel like I meet a Bradley. I think I met Bradley Williams. So I told him that my name was Bradley. That's the only thing I said to him. It was really awkward. But I don't know that many Bradleys. Maybe one Bradley. So like Todd. Everybody knows 5 Todds. Todd says, Brad, why aren't you with your family? I saw my brother earlier, but he had plans with some close friends of him, him and his wife. So they were out together. I had a video call with my family. They're up in Michigan. So I don't have a lot of close family in Charlotte, and I wasn't going to drive 11 hours for Thanksgiving break when I'm about to go to Florida for the Chainhawk Open. So I just have my brother close by here and was able to hang out a little bit and enjoy some time earlier today before his plan, get that Zoom call in and everything. But otherwise, I'm hanging out here with you guys. Got some work done, got some editing to do later tonight, but just hanging out, having a good day. Grateful for what I've got. LG says, I don't know if I told you this. Did you know China made a ray gun that shoots 7 times the speed of light? I didn't hear anything about that. But exceeding the speed of light, I think, would be international news, and it would be not under the radar, if you catch my drift. So that's very interesting to hear. I would have to very much like look into that to understand it, because it sounds unbelievable to me. Not that you're saying it, but as a fact, it sounds like an untrue fact. But I don't know. I have no inside knowledge on that. Doc says, Brett, hopefully you get to go home to see the folks soon. I was in Michigan last month, so it wasn't too long ago that I was able to see all my family, a couple of close friends. I couldn't see all my college friends out in Grand Rapids, but it's okay. They're just all right anyway. But I was able to see kind of hometown friends and family, and that was nice. I don't plan to go to Michigan until it's warm, though. I don't like dealing with the bitter cold of the Michigan winter. Snow is pretty, and November is about my limit. I would have been there, today shivering, but like snow is pretty, it's great. But when like late December comes around, I'm like, I'm out of here. I just, you're fine, Doc, but I hate it. So April, is probably the next time I'm going to swing up through Michigan. Maybe May. I want to at least be able to play disc golf and enjoy my life and feel my hands. Doc says, picture can't even show us soup on stream, lol. So you're saying I'm showing a picture, but I can't. I mean, would it not be hilarious if I just did a live stream at some point and it was just me in the kitchen chopping vegetables and peeling potatoes and just making soup and just not even talking, just standing around making soup, and then at the end of it I just shut the stream off? I think that'd be hilarious. It's true. Search up Mach 7. I'll have to Mach is the speed of sound. Okay. Yeah, Mach. Yeah. Todd's right. Yeah. Yeah. Mach is the speed of sound, which is 7 times the speed of sound is fast, but it's way slower than the speed of light, which is like 287,000 miles per second or something like that. Well, let's see if I remember things. 287,000 miles per second, I believe, is the speed of light. That's in meters. That doesn't help me. 186,000 miles per second. Did I say 287? Yeah, 186. I was not right. Sadness. Doc says, Google says people are getting it wrong. The railgun is what people are meaning. 7 times the speed of sound. Doc says, not under the radar. I was proud of that one. I thought that was funny on the fly. We may rip open a black hole. Yeah. At the 7 times the speed of sound. That would be nuts. But I do believe 7 times the speed of light would be nuts. I do believe 7 times the speed of sound. Misspoke. Jim says, happy Thanksgiving. Jim hopping in. What a legend. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Hope it's been great. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving day and either time with family or alone, just resting and relaxing, finding some peace. LG says, I don't know, my friend told me he trolls a lot. He can also just be incorrect and saying the wrong thing. So we're obviously not dogging on you if it's not, factual. It's all right. No problem. Friends like that keep things spicy, Todd says. Mr. Man says Tom Cruise did Mach 10 in the last Top Gun. El China. That's good. Todd says wouldn't want to be in Michigan for winter either. 100%. 100%. It's miserable. Doc would love it. That's about it. Oh, Steven would handle it because he's in New York. Yeah, gross. Doc says actually being sick, went out to let the dog out and was freezing cold. Hashtag getting old. Doc says, please do that for April Fools. That'd be fun. Just pretend like I don't even notice the camera. Have somebody else start it and walk away so that I'm just not even looking at it, pretending like it doesn't exist. That'd be hilarious. 21 Sabian says, Michigan winter is no joke. I was only up there in Mount Pleasant for January, March, and moved back to Charlotte. 26 years I lived in Michigan. And by the time I was a teenager, I disliked the winter. Michigan's beautiful. Beautiful state. Love it. Love the Great Lakes. Like the snow. But it has to stop. It just has to stop. The cold has to stop. And it doesn't. It just lasts forever. And as a soccer player, as someone who was doing like track and cross country, and now as a disc golfer, I'm like, no, I don't have to deal with that. I'm not going to. Todd says I would 200% watch a silent soup making video by you. That's great. That's great. Railgun could probably would be bad for us here in the States. Oh, Mr. Man says, why is that? It's a means of travel. Railway is the most used form of transportation. Japan has a supersonic railgun. Yeah, I'm slightly lost on that. I was always thinking the mag lifts were the future, but Doc says, Mr. Man, railgun is a type of gun that uses rails to speed up the projectiles. Not the railway, the railgun. I see what you're saying. Todd says, at the very end, noticed the camera, act surprised, and hurriedly shut down the stream as if it was an accident. The only problem would be if the stream cut out in the middle and I didn't know. So I'm acting like I'm not noticing, and the stream is actually cut, and I'm just making soup. That would be the joke on me. That would be the best April Fool's joke. It doesn't. The whole joke is that the stream doesn't work, and I'm just making soup. Mr. Man says, "Come on, Doc. Not as miserable as he sounds. He's definitely soft and mushy deep down. He won't even let me say you're probably a master at your craft." Uh, it's hard to say with Doc when you get to his age. Rackle says it has to stop is giving I must stop Christmas from coming vibes. Hey, Christmas is great. Christmas is great. Christmas can be warm. All right, Christmas can have sunshine. Christmas can be on the beach. If you like snow for Christmas, understand snow for Christmas is great. The day after Christmas, it better be gone. That's all I'm saying. Trey Lally says turkey, but it's got to be fried. Ooh. 21 Sabian says we have the railgun too. I just watched the China one. It looks like it's designed to take out aircraft carriers. Oh. Tread Lightly says happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And happy Thanksgiving back to you. And once again to everyone, hope that you had a great day, have had a great day so far, and maybe still have some time left to relax, enjoy time with friends or family, and have had some great food. I have a little steam left in me, but I've got to eat some delightful food at some point. So maybe 20 more minutes. 20 is my limit. Todd says Christmas is easily the best time of the year from Halloween to New Year's. It's a great stretch. It's a great stretch. I feel like I have a lot of great family memories from that kind of week. I would say Christmas with my family, a lot of good memories. We would always have Christmas at home. Homemade pancakes. My dad made some homemade pancakes. Pro pancake tip, chocolate chips and butterscotch chips mixed together in the same pancake, butter and syrup. It's all you need. Your life has been transformed. You're welcome. Fruit and pancakes, they're okay. Then we would do like a Christmas story, nativity thing, read the Christmas story from Luke together, head over to my open gifts, head over to my grandparents, open more gifts, Christmas tree, Christmas dinner, all the great stuff, spend time together, awesomeness. New Year's Eve, always with my best friend. His family is my kind of family's friends. Parents are friends with each other, siblings are friends with each other. And we would always play video games and hide and go seek in his multi-story home. And we had people like hiding in cardboard boxes, hiding in kitchen drawers, and like folding themselves up into the drawers, hiding under piles of laundry that have been sitting all day in the corner, so you don't even recognize it anymore. My favorite one is I hid under the Christmas tree, behind a gift, under the like Christmas tree skirt, with my legs sticking upwards into the middle of the tree between branches, so that it looked like there wasn't enough space for a person to hide there. But I was like, half my body was up in the air, hidden by the tree branches. And that was a pretty good hide in plain sight place. A lot of great time, a lot of great memories. Okay. More railgun stuff. Todd says the nostalgia is definitely stronger than the current reality. Sucks getting old. Yeah. Tread says recently had a plus 17 on a winter league. Long layout. I was throwing fours on pretty much every three. Trying to break the hole down and focus more on a safe par. Started cold with no warm-up. Was ugly MA4. Yeah, cold with no warm-up, I would die. My worst, like, I can generally speaking throw in the cold, but putting is so bad. So bad. My fingers get so stiff, and I can't, the way I putt, I have to like pop at the last second. My timing's very important. So my fingers are stiff. I just can't get it. Just can't putt in the cold. It's just miserable. Thank goodness my sister-in-law gave me electric hand warmers. Such a saving grace on the disc golf course. And in Charlotte, they work really well because it doesn't get absolutely bitter cold. Doc says, nah, Todd, being young would suck. Todd says, give me young and dumb over old and wide any day. Tread says was missing so many 20 footers would have made my score so much more respectable. And I feel like that's exactly how it happens. Even when you get there, the putting is so hard when it's freezing cold and your limp fish sticks for fingers just can't handle the disc. Frisky Discer says, "What's up? Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for hopping by. Thanks for swinging through and joining." Sorry, I'm laughing at Todd. Old and wise, not old and wide. I didn't know if it was intentional or not, but it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. It's funny because I'm wide, he says. No. You put in the effort, man. You worked hard and lost some weight, really put in the work this year. I'm proud of you for that. 100%. But it was funny. It was very funny. Frisky, I hope that you've had a great Thanksgiving so far and are enjoying the rest of your day with some time to have some peace and relax. Man, I am getting a little bit tired. And I hope that the food was excellent. Doc said, "Nah, Todd, you said what you said." He says, "Where do y'all play disc golf at?" I am in Charlotte, so Charlotte, North Carolina, the disc golf hub for the US in terms of amount of good courses, I would say. Yes, Emporia is in a sense a different hub, but they have like 5 courses. Charlotte has 50. So I'm very happy to be here. Great weather almost the whole year round. And of course, the Pro Tour coming through next year is awesome. We've had the Pro Tour Championship. We didn't have the Pro Tour technically this year, although match play was here. But next year, what is it called? The Carolina. It's not the Carolina Clash. We have that. Carolina Cup, I believe is what it is. And that's coming to Charlotte in March. I will be in attendance. If anybody is going to be coming to Charlotte for the Carolina Cup, when I was in the Disc Golf Pro Tour commercial shoot, I picked that tournament as my free VIP entry. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to try to make the most of it and try to be there pretty much all week. So plan on finding me at some point if you're going to be in town. Doc says, "I play my local Glen Hilton, Hickory." Dude, Doc, this is hilarious. I was just in Hickory for unrelated reasons at the same time that there was a Chain Reactions disc golf tournament at Glen Hilton in Hickory 2 weeks ago on Saturday. I was just there. I did not play, ironically, but I did not know. I'd never heard of that course until Chain Reactions started doing a North series, and they do more like Lake Courier, Glen Hilton, Stumpies, and a few of the other kind of North courses. But that is funny that you mentioned that because I haven't played there yet, but that is a nice local course. Todd's from Northern California. Doc says, "Todd, what happened to Cali? Seems like you don't see the tour there anymore." Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it in years. I haven't been watching for that long, but it seems like they start only getting as far west as Nevada and they come back. Doc says, "Yeah, Brad, I knew you were here. I stayed away that day. Well, you could have played. I wouldn't have been there." Mr. Mann says, "What did I miss? I was away for the last few minutes." Todd was complaining about wanting to be young and dumb instead of old and wide. He meant to say wise, so that was pretty funny. And we talked about how bitter cold Michigan is, that you can't play disc golf. And I don't like living there, and I like it being warm for Christmas. That's pretty much it. 21 Sabian says, "Can't wait for the Pro Tour next year. The Match Play Championship was really fun. I'll be there for sure." Heck yeah. Todd says, "Only like OTB Stockton. It's a real shame because we have a few world-class courses." And I know like De La gets tournaments that the pros will show up for, but it's not that many pros because I'm sure it's in between, so it's travel time for a lot of professionals. Doc says, I know, Todd, don't y'all have the oldest course? Yeah, yeah. Frisky says, I play in Utah, the Fort, 2021 Worlds. Yeah. That's awesome. I just referenced that. I was talking about Paul Macbeth throwing a shot off of a wall or something. Oh gosh, I'm 30, Doc. 30 years old. But I don't drink, so I don't care. Todd says the number one down in California. Oh, my laptop freaked out. Okay. The first course, Southern California, the original, which is unfortunately very not tour quality, Todd says. I believe it. Doc says, next time in Hickory, try Village Inn Pizza. That actually sounds great. I just had Empire Pizza a couple weeks ago in Mint Hill, pretty local. And I'm always looking for like that good pizza joint. It was pretty good. I was impressed. I had Maui pizza, and I'm not always a pineapple guy. The specific Maui pizzas, built together. It's kind of designed for it. I don't just put pineapple willy-nilly on pizza. It was good. It was really good. Yeah, good shout. Village Inn Pizza Buffet. Is it actually good, or are you messing with me? Mr. Van says, Doc, is it Italian owned? Doc says, no. Todd says, Brett is a wide young man, so a drop of the devil's drink has never passed his lips. Yes, I'm a very wide young man. But yeah, I mean, there's a few things. Ultimately, as a Christian, I think that it is allowable to drink alcohol, but I think it's generally not a good idea. Unwise, waste of money. And for me personally, I don't drink. I have tasted alcohol. I've had a few different drinks. I actually liked a Moscow Mule. Ugh, can't even say it. But I mean, I haven't had anything in 5 years, probably. And I don't miss it. It's not anything special. I'd rather have a good old chocolate milk. Stuff is addictive. Lex says, Todd, I don't drink, but I'll take him to Village Inn. Angel says, crazy frisbee collection. Thank you very much. All these disc golf discs all fly a little bit differently. Are you a disc golf fan or an ultimate frisbee fan? Mr. Man says, Doc, if it's pizza, it always has to be Italian for the authentic experience. Well, that's the beauty of like Italian pizza versus American pizza, is it's intentionally different. It's different enough to be a different food. I like American pizza. I like greasy, cheesy pizza. Village Inn has a number of places in NC. Check out there where we are. There we go. Anyway, love their salad bar. I've been going there since I was a kid, the dinosaur age, when they only had lettuce. Frisky says, who is your favorite disc golfer? Great question. I love this question. My favorite disc golfer is Calvin Heimberg. He's top 3, sometimes top 2 every year. He's just incredible. But not only is he very, very talented, now a major winner, which I'm just ecstatic about. I loved him winning that. But when you see him in skins matches, he is so funny. He is just, his sense of humor, it just gets me. It's just this dry, witty, sarcastic humor. So good. And it's so different from how he's so like focused in competition when he's cracking jokes and making fun of people and messing around in skins matches. So good. Instant fan from just one skins match that I watched. And of course, his talent level is crazy. Second favorite, Isaac Robinson. I've met him, chatted with him for a while. He's so kind. He's such a good person. 2 times world's winner, 2 years in a row. Short list of like 5 people. So what an awesome guy. Love him. Yeah, I like Cole Redolin. I like Gannon. I like Sullivan Tipton. He's really nice. I got to play on a card with him, just a casual round. That's very cool. He's very friendly. Fan of Ellie Mittling, distance FBO champion last year. There's like a person on my list that I've skipped, and I feel bad about them, but I have to move on, or else I'm just gonna be sitting here. Who are your favorites? Doc says, Mr. Man says, my bad, brought a Mountain Dew. Frisky says mine is AB. AB's right up there. He's so good. He's so good. Doc says Paige Pierce is mine. Brad, if you can't stay for the buffet, get there Chicago style. Okay. Todd says Ricky, Robinson Bros, the late Kristen Tatar. She's not dead, but she's not playing anymore. She's Kristen Lott now. My faves. Always root for old man Paul to whip the young bucks. Paul Oman or Paul Macbeth? Doc says Todd found a few, but I think the main issue is most courses are public, so no drinking. Interesting. Mr. Man says, funny you said that, Brad. The pizza I had in New York was nothing close to the one that I had in Naples, 100%. And actually, in Florida, my favorite pizza place is New York Pizza Plus. It's really, really good. Doc says, Todd, I heard something about Kristen being on Jonathan's channel. I'll see if I see it, I'll shout it at you. That's really nice. I think I saw something getting put out. LJ's Fishing says hello. Hello and happy Thanksgiving. LJ's, thanks for hopping on and joining the chat for a little bit. I am wrapping up the stream in a couple of minutes, just FYI. I'm getting kind of hungry. And I've got some stuff to do tonight, but it's been great hanging out with all of you. The legality of an idea never seems to come to mind. LJ says, have you ever heard of Goodfellas pizza? I have not heard or had Goodfellas pizza. Todd says, I'm offended on Paul's behalf that you asked which Paul. That's like saying which Jordan. Sorry, I don't follow baseball. Doc says, Look is Village Inn. Look is Village Inn a local place for $15 a buffet going to be the same as $50 a plate for an Italian restaurant? Maybe not, but I like it. Good night. All right. LJ was or is one here, never tried it. I can't. I'm trying so hard. LJ says best pizza in the world. Yeah, I mean, obviously it depends on preference, of course, but they could have great pizza. Todd says, I don't follow baseball either, but I know a field goal when I see one. Yeah, exactly. 21 Sabian says, if we shout out pizza, Mezzo Market in Charlotte is new and fantastic dough recipe. I was working there for a bit this summer. Good shout. Mezzo Market. Sounds pretty good. And I do like trying out great pizza places, so thank you. Although I rarely eat out, so it's kind of a conundrum for me where I never eat out, so I never try new pizza places, but I love trying new pizza places. Frisky says one of the reasons I like AB is because of his drip. He played baseball and Luna battles. He's good with that Luna, man. And yeah, he looks pretty dang cool. And he throws pretty dang far. One of my brother's friends, who we often play with disc golfing together, loves AB as well. Huge AB fan. He was texting me. He was really happy when I was spectating AB winning the chess.com Open in Florida at the Olympus course, AB's first Pro Tour win. I told my brother's buddy that I just was hanging out with AB for a while. I didn't, but it was funny. Frisky says, see ya. God bless. Thanks for hopping in. Whatever. Thanks for swinging by. Catch you later. Happy Thanksgiving. I am wrapping things up in a minute as well. So, fair warning. Mr. Man says, catch you next stream, Brad. You too, Doc. Peace out, Mr. Man. Thanks for hanging and being here. Happy Thanksgiving. Catch you soon. Todd says, adios, ladies and gents. Happy Thanksgiving. God bless. Oh, gosh. Not answering that question. Doc says, how often are you in Mooresville, closest to Charlotte? Mooresville being, I don't know, what course is there? I don't know where Mooresville is or Gastonia or any of these places. LJ says, do you live in Indiana, North Carolina? Todd's in California, North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina for me. But I grew up in Michigan. LJ says, not trying to be weird. No problem. Frisky says, do a stream soon. I will join Sunday, 7 p.m. EST, that is. 7 p.m. EST on Sunday, every single week. Running stream, so swing on by and see you then. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Gamer's crazy boy Thank you for all the jewels. Really appreciate it. What a legend. Just jumping in and dropping them. I thought I was getting a bunch of comments and I looked down. Shout out combining 10 times 100 for 2 jewels. Gamer, what a legend. Absolute legend. Doc says 12 minutes from Stumpy's. Okay. So very rarely. I played a course up there, not Stumpy's. I can't remember what it was. Won like 3 CTPs and got like $60 total in like a doubles thing. But I'm out there rarely. I've never even played Stumpy's, and I've been there maybe in the area twice, and both times didn't make it happen. Well, I'm glad that I pushed till 7:30 for Gamer's crazy boy to jump in and drop some jewels. You guys are great. Thank you for hanging out with me on Thanksgiving. I hope all of you have had a great Thanksgiving so far. I'm blessed. I'm grateful to God for what He's given me and all of the blessings in my life, including you guys, including my ability to play disc golf and have a channel. So thank you for being part of that. Love you guys. I got a couple of quick. Oh, we're getting more jewels dropped in the stream. Thank you, Caleb. Steph says the putt master. Steph, I'm wrapping up the stream. I'm so sorry. Thank you for swinging in real quick. Doc says, do the jewels help? I think they convert to money. I don't know the conversion rate. I'll have to look that up. 21 Savings says W. Caleb says, you're the GOAT. Thank you, man. Blessings on all of you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. NG says, stopping through to say happy Turkey Day. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Man, it's like everybody sensed that I was about to wrap it up. You guys are awesome. Sarah says, man, have a good night. You guys too. I will talk to you all later. I will stream on Sunday and hopefully a video coming this weekend. All right. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.